Hey nerds, what's up? Today's video is going to be the worst books of 2019. That's right, if you haven't seen Allie from Allie Covert's books, little disclaimer yet, then you're not paying attention on Twitter and you should just go watch hers because it's fantastic and basically opinions aren't facts, so don't come at me if these are your favorite books. Thanks. Okay, let's get into this. I wanted to start off with 5 books that I didn't love or maybe were disappointing but weren't like horrible, and then we'll get into the 5 books that like were really not good. The first book I want to talk about is Emergency Contact, and this book I read early in the year. It was like not that great. For this book and for some of the books that I will be talking about in this video is more about like it surprises me how much other people like them and then to compare my thoughts on it. Like I read this book and was just like, what? This book wasn't that good to me. It's just fine. Like there was nothing surprising and the love part of it felt not that realistic. It didn't have enough chemistry to me. I don't know what was going on. I didn't feel it. The next book I want to talk about, which is probably honestly the first one I should have talked about because it's the one that needs to be on this list the least, and that's American Street by E.B. Zeboy. This book overall was good, and then there was just like 1 or 2 things that I was like, what? That's where this went? So, and then it just like completely threw off like how I felt about it. The next book I want to talk about is Aurora Rising by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. So disappointing. I was so sad that I didn't like this book. Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff wrote the Illuminate Files. That is one of my favorite sci-fi series of all time. And I was so ready to have more of not the same story, but of the same like emotional feelings I had. And this one just, it felt very like surface level for all of the emotions. Like I don't understand what was wrong, like why wasn't it getting me into it, but none of it felt real. Like none of it felt like I should care about anything. Some of the major plot points were so predictable that I just, what? The next book that I want to talk about is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I think I realized that me and Leigh Bardugo's writing just don't get along. I love Leigh Bardugo. I've met her at a few different events. She's fucking badass. But her writing and me just aren't each other's favorite thing. I don't know what's going on. It's just average to me. It's just like, it's fine. And like, again, I don't understand the hype. Like I want to be in it. I want to be in the hype, and then I try to get in the hype and then I read it and then I'm like, it was just okay. Like, this book had a lot of people saying stuff like, oh, it's really dark and it's definitely not YA, it's so adult, and like it's super creepy and like so many trigger warnings and stuff, which there are trigger warnings for some serious shit that goes down in this book, but at the same time, all of those things that happen, it's all telling. Almost. It's hard on a surface level. Like, yeah, this shit that happens in real life is horrible, but like, it's not personally horrible as I'm reading it. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It just was fine, and like, it totally reads like a YA book. The content's not YA because there's some serious trigger warnings for like sexual assault and stuff, but like, the way it's written is definitely YA. I don't know, it's very weird. The next book that I want to talk about is another popular book on the booktubes, and it's The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. So this book also has some significant trigger warnings for a lot of shit that goes down in this book. There's in particular a trigger warning for rape and sexual assault. Story is a story within a story, and it doesn't happen on the page. It felt very much like telling and not showing, and I'm not saying that I necessarily want to be in this like intense rape scene and like read it from that perspective, but like, I don't know, it felt weird. It didn't give me enough. I don't know what I'm even trying to even ask for, because like I said, I don't know that I want to specifically read first person about a horrifying rape scene, but like, it just didn't catch me. It didn't hurt me the way I wanted it to hurt me. Maybe I'm a masochist is what we're finding out in this video. I don't know. A lot of it was good, but at the same time, not only in the particular scene I'm talking about, but there is a lot of like telling and not showing about a lot of things, and I don't know, it felt very much like we were outside of the action in a lot of different ways in this story, which I just didn't love. Moving on to the really top 5 worst books of the year for me. And yes, I put DNFs on this story because I think that if I can't finish a book because I don't want to, then it's bad. And I'm gonna also rate it. So that's my opinion on that. I want to talk about A List of Cages. I did finish this book. I wish I hadn't. So this book, I'm giving it a 2-star. It was also the first book that I read this year, and I'm bitter that this is the first book I read in 2019. So I gave this book a 2-star because it did keep me interested enough in the plot that I wanted to finish it. But this book is tragedy porn, and I have realized that I freaking hate tragedy porn. Like, do not give me scene after scene after scene after scene of these horrifying, tragic things that keep happening to the same person with nothing getting fixed, and on top of that, there's not a good enough revenge scene. Like, I just also watched this movie that had this issue, and I feel like I talked about it maybe already on this channel, but maybe not. Brimstone? Maybe? Scene after scene after scene after scene of this like horrific person doing these horrific things to this poor family, poor girl, and then it just ends. It doesn't have a good enough, there was not a good enough ending to this book to be deserving of all of the horrific things I had to get through to get to the end. I just want more horrible stuff to happen to the bad guy after we watch the bad guy do all of the horrible things. Is that too much to ask? I didn't like this book. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I'm mad that I read it. I'm bitter about it. The next book that I have to talk about is The Gatekeeper's Sons by Eva Poehler. I unfortunately was given this book in exchange for review, and I say unfortunately because I didn't like it, and like, I don't think that's necessarily the writer's fault. I don't know. I feel bad rating and talking so negatively about some of these independent author things, but at the same time I gotta be honest. So I DNF'd this book. This book is about a girl who catches the eye of the god Thanos, the god of death, and his brother, and it's about her, it's like a Persephone story, I think. I just didn't, some of the plot devices, the choices that some of the characters made felt off, and I just finally was like, this is not good enough to keep reading. And this goes for the next book as well, which was The Hierophant's Daughter by M.F. Sullivan. This was also given to me in exchange for review. This book is about a girl who's the daughter of one of the like kids that the like bad guy who's the leader is like ranging up, and she's like a vampire thing. She has to drink blood, so that's the vampire part. And it's about her running away and trying not to get caught by the leader guy. And I like can't even put my foot on why the book just didn't, both of these books had me rolling my eyes. And when a book starts making me roll my eyes too many times, then I can't keep reading it. Like, that's just, I can't. If I'm taken so far out of the story by how unrealistic or how unlikely or something, and it's not to say like fantasy, like obviously fantasy and sci-fi, unrealistic, but I'm talking about like the character motivation, like, it just, I didn't, no. And lastly, in case you missed it, I really hated The Magicians by Lev Grossman. I am pissed about it. I also DNF'd this book. I'm pissed about this book. I'm so angry that I was told by so many people that I would love it. And obviously, like, that's not to say I'm mad at people. I'm just mad that this book is what it is. I'm mad that I didn't like it because I read The Unkindness of Magicians, and like this is supposed to be the adult Harry Potter, so like Harry Potter fan, people are telling me to read this book because it's like more adult, and like The Unkindness of Magician was fantastic. This book sucks, okay? Like, this book sucks. This book has 2 different horrible scenes in it. Maybe even more because I didn't finish it, so I don't even know. But in case you weren't following me on my old channel where I ranted about this book for a whole video, I feel like, there is a scene, I'm going to spoil this, so I don't feel like these are significant spoilers, but I do feel like they are spoilers, so if you really don't want to be spoiled for this book, watch until I skip until I don't have this book in my hand anymore. But this book freaking sucked. There's a scene where the main character and the girl he likes and the whole class get turned into foxes, and then while they're foxes, he essentially rapes the girl that he likes, but they're foxes, so that's how foxes have sex. So then no one cares when they turn back into humans. Like, she doesn't care, but he's thinking about it like, ooh, did I fuck up? Yes, you did. Yes, you did, and she doesn't care, and it made me mad. And then they like change time, and they're older now, and they're throwing a party, and he's now girlfriend and boyfriend with that girl, and then all of their other friends come over and they haven't seen each other a really long time, and he's talking about how hot his other friend is that he hasn't seen in a really long time, and basically says like, oh, she's wearing this hot dress that my girlfriend could never pull off. And then by the end of the night, he cheats on his girlfriend and has sex with the friend. And what the fuck? And that's when I DNF'd the book. On top of all of that, the story is boring. Nothing is happening. They're at this school for essentially witchcraft, but like nothing, there's no plot. Like in Harry Potter, I'm putting the book down now because you can now listen to me. I'm not going to talk about it. Spoilers anymore, just about how it was boring on top of everything else. Like in Harry Potter, obviously they're in a school for witchcraft and wizardry, so there are scenes where they're just learning, but there's this overarching plot of the Dark Lord who is coming back throughout all of the stories. This book has no underlying plot, like nothing. It's just them learning magic. I mean, I only got halfway through, so maybe it wasn't introduced yet, but like we were halfway through this book, man. It was boring. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I promise I'm done. Those are the books that I hated this year. I'm sorry that they might be your favorite book. I hope I didn't offend anyone. Please don't be offended if you love these books. I'm glad somebody out there loves them. I didn't. You know, like especially with the books that I said yes to for review, like that's different because I thought I would love them. Like I wanted to love them, so I'm like sad for myself that I didn't love them. Wow, I really hate the magicians. Okay, that's everything for this video. I hope you guys liked me ranting, especially about the magicians, because fuck that book. I have all my social media linked down below. I make videos on this channel every Thursday and Saturday, so please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Comment down below what your least favorite book of the year was, because man, I'm still mad about it. And I read it in like June. I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys very soon with a new one. Bye! I love you guys. Happy New Year!